Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing tonight? We are back again for another live show as we review our game. Of course, over the weekend against Blackpool, a 2-2 draw. The dust has settled, obviously, a few days after the game. Does give you a little time to reflect and kind of gather your thoughts a bit better, more clearly. And I feel like I'm able to do that this evening with you guys. And obviously, I'd love to hear what you think as we go along as well, and let me know your thoughts about the result as well. Yeah, so we are back for another week of brilliant content for you guys, hopefully. But let's say a few words before we get into the game and everything. Aidan says, hi mate, hope you're okay. Hello Aidan, my wonderful mod, how are we doing this evening? Good to see you in the chat. And yeah, as Aidan always says, my wonderful mod always says, make sure you just smash the likes and subscribe if you're new. Guys, we are getting closer to that 800 subscribe mark. We are actually 41 away before the start of the live show today. Last week, we were over 50 away. So we are getting there slowly but surely. And guys, I appreciate if you could share the channel wherever click the like button. It does help the video get around, get the video noticed. And yeah, subscribe. It is free, and it would mean a lot to me, honestly. It really would. So big up to Aidan. And yeah, on the road to 800 subs, indeed. It would be amazing to get that. I didn't even think I'd ever get. I didn't think I'd even ever get 10 subscribers, let alone 800. Every milestone that you hit, you feel an immense proud feeling inside, and I think it means more to people that don't really have that belief in themselves like I don't. And for you guys to believe me, for you guys to enjoy the content that I do and come back every time and show your support, it honestly means absolutely everything to me. You don't understand it. I can't put it into words. But Joshua says, evening Ryan, hope you're well. Hello to you, Joshua. Hope someone can come across the video and subscribe to you so you can get 800 subs because you're fully deserved. Thank you very much, Joshua. I appreciate that very, very much. Look, I have a lovely community. I love you guys in the chat that come in and say hello to me and engage in the chat. So yeah, obviously the community we've got is growing, but yeah, you guys have made the channel what it is today. Without you guys, the channel wouldn't be where it is. So big up to you all. But thank you for your kind words, Joshua. I appreciate that. I'll take the point here since I can't say I'm disappointed with the point, but why do we always seem to struggle against teams in the bottom half of the league? Yes, you're sharing your thoughts here. Look, I haven't changed my opinion on what I said on the watch along after the game, directly after the game. I still feel the same way, guys, and I will get into what I feel about the whole, situation with getting a point and things. But fair enough, Ian, you'll take a point, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's acceptable to get a point against a team that is 16th in the table. A lower league, a lower, bottom half team, again, drop points against a bottom half team. It is just so frustrating. Hello to you, Bing, how are you doing? I think Joel had a decent debut, looked nice, finished well, yeah. Yeah, and John said, even all working on a Monday should be banned. Blue Monday, very Blue Monday, as they call it. But yeah, no, I said, but big up to you, John. Good to see you in the chat. And of course, we will be getting John on next week. Indeed, we'll be getting John on next Monday evening. And of course, he will be joining me for the Birmingham City preview show as we play them on Tuesday evening next week. So yeah, no, it should be a good show, and I'm excited to get John on. And instead of me talking about the opposition, I'll hand it over to John, and he'll cover everything all Birmingham City for the opposition preview show. Blue Terry says the result was frustrating, Blackpool are a very well organised team, but certain players didn't do their jobs properly. Yeah, I echo those thoughts, absolutely. But thank you guys, everybody that's here right now, and we're going to get straight into the game. And so, obviously, I did kind of share my reactions when the lineup did come out, but let's just recap. Obviously, yeah, there were a few noticeable things that we noticed on this team sheet, of course. And so, yeah, we'll go through the lineup and then we'll kind of share our thoughts. With the Chapman starting goal, back three of Spencer, Lees, and Pearson, which I said I didn't want. Tom Lees and Matty Pearson absolutely not in the same back three starting games. No, thank you. Josh Koroma and Oliver Turton as the wing backs. Again, the wing backs are the most crucial, a big part of this formation, and we haven't got the quality in the wing back areas, guys. So it is really frustrating. Kane, Hodge, and Wiles, who seems to get automatic starting place every week, even though he's been absolutely atrocious for weeks now. And the new two shiny strikers, indeed, Joe Taylor and Dion Charles, starting up top as well. So yeah, that was really exciting, wasn't it? And obviously, Healy was back on the bench as well. Nichols was back on the bench. Hogg, Balker, and Eccleston, who has just returned from his loan spell at Barrow. So yeah, I mean, look, I wasn't particularly happy about the back three because I said that in the preview show as well, and and I think that the wing backs we are still weak in them areas in terms of the wing back areas right now. Josh Koroma is too inconsistent. He's not a wing back, and Turton, he's not a wing back either. He's not good enough for that position at all. So yeah, so that's my kind of thoughts. I was mostly happy with it. I was excited to see the new lads come in and start, but there were a few bits and pieces that I kind of mentioned already. The defence, not happy with their balance there. The wing backs, I wasn't really happy with that either. So yeah. And of course, not forgetting Radolovic and Ladapo missing from the squad altogether. And I think that is a sign of things to come, guys, if I'm being honest with you. I think they will not be on that bench for the rest of the season. And to be honest with you, if Radolovic can get out and on loan maybe, or even a permanent, he will leave at this point in the window. I think he could leave in January, should I say. And I think Ladapo, I don't think anyone would detail Ladapo, but if he can get out on loan somewhere, I don't know, then maybe that is the best action. But I don't see either of those being involved in the squad now, because we are getting players back as well. In the weeks that go by, we're getting more and more players back. We've got the attackers in that we wanted, the two strikers, new strikers. So yeah, they're completely down the pecking order now, and that's like music to my ears, because I've said it time and time again. Ladapo was a panic buy last summer just because we didn't get our target. It's a complete waste of money. Yes, people will say, it's a free. We're still paying his wages. It's a waste of money. And then we've gone to the Finnish pub league, or whatever you want to call it, and got Bojan Radulovic last January. And yeah, he's been absolutely dreadful. So yeah, no. Not impressed at all with that at all. And yeah, well, hopefully it's a blessing in disguise now we've got the new strikers in. We won't have to see them even come off the bench anymore. Thank goodness. Joshua says it looked like the reason why Carl Joseph was not in the squad was due to interest, because Hull have agreed a 2.5 million chance. Oh, really? Yeah. I know it was subject to a lot of speculation, a lot of interest, but I wasn't really sure. Obviously, nothing had gone through before the game, but yeah. Koroma, I thought, was really poor. Kept on leaving the back post empty. Yeah, absolutely. And Jordan's in. Hello, Jordan. How are you doing, bro? Good to see you in the chat. Big up to you. And hope you're all well. Hope you're well. And Jeffrey says, we are throwing points away like a man with no arms. You must stop playing like donkeys against lower league teams. 4 games at least equals 8 points lost, equals no promotion if it carries on. Look, Jeffrey, you've literally took the words out of my mouth. Honestly, I completely agree with you. It's just absolutely pathetic how we are dropping points against teams that are in the low, the low part of the table, teams that we should be winning. And like you said, how many points? These points are crucial. People are saying to me about the Blackpool game. We're going to get into it in a moment. But people are saying to me about Blackpool game. Ooh, we were 2-0 down, so we got a pot, and we came back to get a point. Yes, that first half, and we're going to get into it. We put ourselves in that position, so the players had to get themselves out of it and spare the embarrassment. And we showed character in that second half, and we got back in the game, and rightfully so. But that doesn't make it acceptable to get a point against Blackpool, who are 16th in the table. We've taken, you know what I mean? We've taken 1 point from out of possible 6 against them this season. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And like you said, no promotion if it carries on, and that's just being truthful. Not this fake positivity, this unbeaten run that people love to throw in people's face whenever they've got something to say about, being critical about what's going on right now in terms of the dropping points against teams that are in the bottom half of the table, right? And we're going to get into the narrative of this unbeaten run a bit later on. Guys, you were setting me off, and I'm going to just say, anyway. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, Ladapo is horrendous, can't finish, doesn't run, doesn't do anything, doesn't offer anything in this side. I think Radulovic is more likely to leave because he's younger and has got a few more goals than Ladapo. Yeah, it looks like we're probably stuck with Ladapo, but if he's not in the team, if he's not in this squad at all, which I don't think he will be now going forward, then if he just wants to sit in the reserves, then that's up to him then, isn't it? It's a good point from the view you were 2-0 down with this poor overall result. Yeah, I get that. I do get that. It is, we were 2-0 down. I said it before we went to that second half. We're not getting back into this. I just can't see it. But we did. But still, it still dropped points. At halftime, I would have taken the job before the game. Definitely not. Yeah, absolutely. So, look, let's get into the game then, guys. Because I've kind of had a little bit of a rant. But anyway, so the first half was woeful, wasn't it? The defence looked completely lost and all over the place. Couldn't string any passes together. I think there was one team in Blackpool who was playing with aggression, pace, purpose, and another side in us who was playing plodding, slow-paced football with half that side hiding. And it didn't take Blackpool long to score their first goal, and we're going to go through how it happened, but what a pathetic goal this was to give away. And how many times have we said that this season? Actor, we know the threat that he carried before the game even started. He's been fantastic for Blackpool. And we're going to go through how the move developed, as I sometimes do. So here we are. So obviously this was obviously Apter going down the wing here. We've got Spencer labouring behind. And we've got look at the defence though. It's all over the place. Pearson backtracking. Turton's looking over his shoulder to see who's on the left hand side. But look at the defending and the space to exploit in here. And you cannot give Apter space because he will punish you. Now again, allowed to get into the penalty area. So instead of getting a tackling before, we wait until we get into the penalty area where we have to just kind of make sure we're closing down and not giving him space and getting the ball cleanly. Lees, look at the space between Lees and Apter. Why is there such a big gap? Why is he allowing him space? And you've got Pearson again out of position. in my opinion. He should be a bit further back. Turn is in an alright position. I don't know if he knows the guy that's over his shoulder, because he's not, obviously he's not even looking. He's being drawn towards the ball. And then Apter's allowed to cut inside again. Lee's not getting tight enough. There's too big of a gap there. He cuts inside. And then that's when he gets his strike off here, guys. And I think Chapman probably, he wasn't exactly the most powerful strike. Maybe I'm being harsh, but Chapman beating at your near post, I don't really think that is exactly something that we should be not talking about here, because yes, the defending was atrocious. Yes, we shouldn't have allowed Apter to go as far as he did, and then allow him to get his shots off as easy as a training session can be when he takes shots on goal in training. So yeah, so 1-0 down, and it just epitomised how we started the game and how the half carried on. Because when you go 1-0 down, you want to see a reaction, but we didn't show any reaction. We just allowed Blackpool to dictate things, do what they like, and if you look at as the half went on, that chance where Spencer ended up heading it against the crossbar, his own crossbar, it bounced down, and I don't know how it went. I don't know how it didn't go in. Blackpool, they should have been out of sight at half time. That's how bad it was. And then Blackpool do eventually score their second goal, which we're going to go for. And again, right at the end of the first half, Morgan scoring, and again, shocking defending by us. And it all came from playing out from the back, Pearson then playing it to Wiles, who then ends up losing the ball, and then Blackpool break. And then, if you look at this as the move happened, the big circle there is, I'm just kind of clarifying that, look at how much space, look at the big space there he's got to run into Husband. And look at how Pearson is nowhere near, not close enough to the ball. So we give them space, and then it ends up in the penalty area. Husband plays it inside to, I think this is Hamilton, isn't it? And Hamilton then, look at, he literally has all the space down the left to get past. Now, Wiles, to be honest with you, lost his duel, which pathetic, losing every single battle in this first half as a collective, as a team. That's what we did. And Ben Wiles, he should not have allowed him to get past that easily. And then, of course, CJ Hamilton gets the ball in. Now, Chapman, I've praised Chapman a lot in recent weeks. I think he's been brilliant. But Chapman, what on earth was he doing here? He parries the ball straight into the danger zone rather than trying to get the ball out of danger by pushing the ball away. So I think Chapman, for this goal, I don't think the goalkeeper was that great for this goal. I'm going to be honest with you. And then he bounced in front of it. And then guess what? Second to the ball again. Blocks them. Not blocks them. Alfie Morgan wanted it more. And he ends up putting it in the back of the net. No desire, no commitment, no nothing. Toothless defending. And yeah, I mean, like I said, we should have been behind more than 2 goals at half time. It was shocking in every department. Second to every ball, losing out on our duels. The defence all over the place. The midfield nowhere to be seen. Passing going wayward. No urgency in our play. Just allowing Blackpool to dictate things. Making it easy for them. Making it like a training session. And I don't care who you're up against in this league. If you play like that in any half of football, you're going to get punished. So I'm sorry. It was a completely unacceptable half of football. Arguably, don't know if it's because it's the most recent one, but arguably one of the worst halves we've seen this season. Because, yes, it was 2-0 at half time, but it should really have been 3 or 4. We should have been 3 or 4 down. That's the reality. So yeah, absolutely shocking. We're going to get into your comments before we get into the second half, and obviously kind of summarise the first half. Just conclude with that bit. Hi Ryan, Stuart says hello. Stuart, how are you doing? Good to see you in the chat. How are you doing, mate? Good first half, like most of this season. Yeah. Why is it, guys, that we can never play for a full 90 minutes? Why can't we do that? Why is it one half play absolutely the worst we can ever play, and then the second half, the second half play like we're a completely different team? Why can't we have any consistency throughout a match? We don't seem to be able to make changes as the game is in motion in first half. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't. And this is what I'm going to say. You know, the fact is, when it's not going for you, you do need to kind of change it a little bit. And I think Duff sometimes doesn't do that. And yeah, I think you have to adapt to the situation that you face. And I think it was clear that Blackpool was just constantly on top in that first half. Deservedly was leading at half time. But as the game goes on, you need to be able to change it. Like Stuart said, I agree. It is no one literally can watch this and say, "Now we don't need a defender. We've got Balker, everything will be okay." When he's injured, again, we're at square one, so we need to defend this window. Yeah, I agree. And this is my point. You know, you know when Hellick left and there were all that, you know, kind of situation where, in fact, some town fans were saying, "Look, we need a replacement." Some fans were saying we didn't need a replacement because we've got Balker. Balker's back, guys. Yes, Mr. Reliable Balker's back. Are these people just plain stupid or naive? I don't know what I don't know. When you're saying that we don't need a replacement for Hellick, let that sink in. Because you are trying to paper over the cracks of reality. You're trying to put this fake positivity narrative on your own views, just for the sake of it. We've lost a key player in Hellick. Whether people want to say he's not been our best and he hasn't, whatever, he was a key player in that defence, right? He was. But apparently we don't need to replace him because we've got Balker back. It makes zero sense in my mind in every aspect. I think some of these fan base are just plain delusional, to be honest with you. I just like to be in this fake positivity bubble. Things will be all right, don't worry. So yeah, I agree. We do need a defender. Longback is not replacing the Hellick. Well, yes, he's been good. We need a new defender. The thing is, though, people are talking about Longback. Longback isn't going to be available for weeks yet. So what are we going to do between now and then? Because I'm sorry, the game's coming thick and fast in this league. And before we know it, we could be out of sight of the automatic promotion picture when Longback gets back, if we carry on the way we're going. So this narrative that Longback's the replacement for Hellick, yeah, the Longback that's out injured for, you know, until February. Is that the Longback we're talking about? Because what use is that? Yes, when he gets back, he'll be a key player for us. But I don't see how we're gonna get through this month unless we make a signing. And it's all well and good playing Spencer at centre back, but he's not a natural he's not a centre back. We're asking players to play in positions that, yes, they can do, but that's not his best position. So that is another issue. So and then we have to play, you know, the likes of Turton at wing back when he's not a wing back, or Karoma, who again I don't really see how he fits in our system going. Well, he hasn't really fit in our system since Duff came in, to be honest with you, but I don't really know where Karoma's career goes with us at this point, because I just don't see how we are going to be able to, you know, especially when, you know, Roos going obviously our new signing again when he gets back from suspension, and then obviously when we get the central defenders back, Spence will be going out onto the wing back area as well. So I don't really see. To me, I don't really see, you know, a place for Karoma. And he has been inconsistent. Also, only on this, that's the problem. Yeah, look, Bing, I mean, at the end of the day, Longback is our player until the end of the season. So, yes, he's not our player, but he is ours until the end of the season. So, I just see it as that. We look at that in the summer, and obviously go from there. But, yeah, it's just about this season first. But, look, yeah, look, like I said, first half, disjointed, poor across the field, losing the majority of the battles, whilst also we couldn't even hold possession onto possession. Blackpool clearly were told to get out our wing backs and in behind them, and that's ultimately where both goals have come from. And I said it, guys, in the preview. Where did I say that the game would be won and lost? In the winger, in the wide areas, and Blackpool scored both their goals from the wide areas. So yeah, I think Charles and Taylor in that, you know, they were not really doing much, but again, we haven't really kind of received any decent service with the link-up play from back to front not be there at all in that first half. But look, let's get into the second half where it was a lot better. Before we do, ex-Town player available, not Forest ×2 and Bournemouth. You mean obviously Lewis O'Brien and Harry Toffel? Look, guys, these guys are not coming back to us at this point. I don't see it at all. But look, we made a double change at half time. Obviously, Hodge came off, which, again, I think there were other players that clearly could have come off it instead of him. Ben Wiles being one of them. I didn't think Hodge played that badly. He wasn't great, but he didn't play badly. There was worse players in that midfield than Hodge, that's for sure. So I thought that was a strange substitution in terms of the personnel, because he could quite equally have taken Wiles off, pushed Kane further forward, and Hogg coming with Hodge in the defensive midfield, in the more like defensive midfield roles. So yeah, Kane also came off as well, didn't he, for Evans? So yeah, I mean, look, Kane was poor, to be fair, to be honest with you, so I do get that. Now, obviously, the reaction that we saw in the start of the half, I thought it was fantastic, wasn't it? You know, obviously, got to go back 2 minutes into the second half, and a debut goal for Taylor, and what a goal this was, by the way. You know, a ball looped into the penalty area by Evans. Taylor brings it down beautifully, and then strikes the ball first time. A proper clinical striker's finish, wasn't it, guys? You know, it was impressive, and yeah, a debut goal for him, and I never get bored of watching that goal, but put it that way, I think it was a brilliant goal, wasn't it? And then obviously in the 50th minute, we're back level. See, Spencer drives forward. He sees a big gap in their defence and lots of space ahead of him to bring the ball forward. And and then he gets his strike away. It does deflect. It just take a deflection, but it goes into the back of the net, and we're level. So look, a fantastic start, as I said, and I thought it was the reaction that we needed. Whatever was said at half time clearly worked. Double substitution as well. You know, made an impact at the start of the second half as well. Obviously, Evans involved in the first goal as well. So yeah, and obviously then we made a sub. Taylor came off, and Marshall, which look, I think Taylor came off because he was, really tired at that point. Obviously, a lack of minutes, obviously, in this season. So he's coming to our club, and obviously he's not had many minutes. So yeah, no, I think it was the right time to switch up a little bit. And Marshall coming on, feel always confident when Marshall comes on, because you know that he's going to do something, be involved in the game, and do his best as well. So yeah, he's a good substitution to have there. And yeah, Taylor with goal on debut, but he was kept quiet in that first half, wasn't he? But to be fair, we weren't really in possession for him to get the ball, so there we are. And yeah, 57 minutes is the amount of time as well that Taylor has played all season long. So the decision to take him off at that point was because of that, no doubt about it. But look, the momentum was with us, wasn't there? But at that point, them goals really swung the momentum. But Blackpool was still having chances, and they had a glaring chance. I think it was Apter, wasn't it, in the penalty area, acres of space, 7 yards out, and he balloons the ball over the bar. Blackpool were still having chances and looking dangerous. But we were in the ascendancy still, but they were just catching us on the break. And again, another great chance for Blackpool. And if it wasn't for Spencer and Pearson, they would have really taken the lead. 2 blocks to deny that from happening. So yeah, again, look, Duff turns to the bench, brings off Karoma and brings on Balka. A reshuffle in that front as well. Obviously, Spencer going out to the wing back area, wasn't he? And then Balka back into defence. But Balka nearly cost us immediately. Scuffs the clearance, falls to Bloxham, and he should have hit the target and given Blackpool the lead. So again, another big chance for them. But we did have a massive chance. I'm sure you all guys remember this as well. Tom Lees with the header, heading it, and it was a brilliant save by the keeper from point blank range. His header is tipped around the post, and then obviously Reece Healy comes on as well for the remaining minutes. Dion Charles making way for him. I think it was a decent enough debut for Charles, who did work hard throughout and showed glimpses of why we brought him in as well. So yeah, nice little cameo performance, and I did think he was good overall. But look, the game plays out full time, 2-2 draw, and yeah, obviously. It was a big reaction that second half, wasn't it? To come back from 2 goals down, and obviously get back into the match. Goals, obviously, from Davidson, Taylor, and Spencer ensured we came away with a point. I'm going to look at the league table in a moment, but we currently sit in 4th place. And yeah, obviously, the results as well went against us over the weekend as well. So, but we've only got ourselves to blame, really. So yeah, and I go back to it. If you want to look at it at the point that we were 2-0 down, we got back into the game. Yeah, it's a good point. But if you look at it from the angle of, well, we did score early on in that second half. We had plenty of time to get the winner, and we didn't manage to do that. And then you can argue that if you have a first half like we did, then do you really deserve to win the match either? But I suppose sometimes you have to grind out results. It doesn't really matter what you deserve. Some teams win when they don't deserve to win. It's about putting the ball in the back of the net and punishing your opponent. So yeah, I personally edge towards the fact that he's another 2 points dropped against a team lower, lower bottom half team. What I was saying there, a bottom half team. We've dropped points again. How many times have we said that in recent week, guys? You know, we've drawn against the likes of Burton, Rotherham, all these teams that we should be winning. Yeah, that's only in recent memory, but the reality is that's like 6 points. It's like 6 points that we could have extra if we would have won the game. But look, let's get into the comments. Missed a few. Apologise for this, but Evans and Hogg looked good in the second half. Yeah, they did. They came on and they did look good, to be fair to them. So fair play. Taylor goal was just what we've been wanting from one of our strikers for the past year. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. I just thought it was a beautifully taken goal, wasn't it? You know, the way he brought it down and then struck it first time. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Got Taylor 5-2 score at a time. Fair enough. Talking of Balk, I thought he had a shake start when he came. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Obviously, it showed from when he gave that big chance to block some by scuffing his clearance. Yeah, it was a good chance, wasn't it, that one? I think Charles had a poor match, not fully down to him, though. Yeah, I don't think he was bad, but I don't think he was great either. I think he was an okay debut for him. So yeah, let me know what you think, though, guys. But for me, I wasn't happy with the point. Absolutely not. Because I'm looking on the basis of how many points we dropped against teams who are in the lower end of the table, and teams that get promoted don't lose to teams don't do what we're doing at the moment, in my opinion. I think if you look at Ben Wiles as well, I think serious conversation needs to be had about Ben Wiles, guys. And I'm going to be brutally honest here, because I'm sorry, he's been so poor for a while now, but because he's got 6 goals and a couple of assists this season so far, he's the golden boy. He's the golden boy, according to some fans. How he lasted the full 90 minutes in this one, I'll never know. His set pieces are dreadful, mostly never getting past their first man. It seems like he needs like a handful of deliveries to get one right. It's crazy. And I'm not going to just look at Ben Wiles, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of fanfare about Ben Wiles, and it's like, well, he shouldn't be an automatic starter. And Wiles is average. And just because he's been better than last season, which is not really anything to go off, by the way, guys, because last season was horrendous by all the team, but he signed for us and he didn't do anything for us. So we're not really comparing last season to this season, to be honest with you. And I think if you look at the formation, the tactics, it killed us, guys, didn't it? You know, Blackpool were doing exactly what they did at our place, and Duff just sets up exactly the same way. I think it was such a poor setup. No wingers and no attacking presence. For this system to work, you need good wing backs. We've already mentioned it many times before on this channel. Turton can't attack. Let's be brutal. He can't attack. And Karoma, he's rubbish in that position. He's just not good enough. He's found wanting so many times. So like I said, for me, it was 2 points dropped. The first half performance was completely unacceptable. Second half showed a bigger reaction, getting 2 early goals, but couldn't find a winner. And Blackpool, you could argue, should have won it with those 2 big chances they had. It's more drop points against the team at the bottom half of the table. I thought Hogg and Evans looked good when they come on and made a difference. So yeah, they did well. But as the title says in this video, draws are not enough when we are chasing the automatic promotion places. That's the reality, because we can't keep relying on the teams above to drop points and help us out and keep us close. We can't do that, and of course that didn't happen at the weekend. But teams above us have dropped points in recent weeks. and we haven't capitalised on it. And look, it's not a positive when we've gifted 2 goals in the first half. It's not a positive point for me if you've gifted your opponent 2 goals in the first half. Played one of the worst half footballs we've played this season. Draws not enough. More drop points against teams at the bottom half of the table. And I think that'll come back to bite us at the end of the season. I really do, guys. And we're going to get into this narrative of unbeaten runs, by the way, because I just want to say something about this, because I'm tired of being, lambasted with unbeaten run, unbeaten run, unbeaten run. Yeah, that is it's good to be unbeaten. It's good to have an unbeaten run, absolutely. But it means absolutely zero when a lot of them games are draws against lower league opposition. We should be winning, first of all. You don't succeed doing this. Unbeaten runs are all well and good, but if you don't achieve your goal at the end of the season, what is the point in it? In my opinion, it was a poor result on Saturday, a shocking point that isn't going to get the club any other than a lottery playoff spot. Now, these kind of results will get you a lottery playoff spot. And it seems to be there's a lot of this fan base obsessed with unbeaten runs and all this, and the club tweeting out about the unbeaten run all the time. At the end of the day, let me just remind people, we've only won 1 in 4, and the gap to the automatics has widened again, over this weekend. We need some wins on the board again. We need to go on a winning run. We need to stop dropping points against teams that are in the lower part of the table. And I'm not taking away the unbeaten run, because an unbeaten run is good, but only if you have something to show for it at the end of the season. And when that unbeaten run includes games that you should be winning in that time as well, it's hard. It takes the gloss of it a little bit, because that is what it is. And I just think, if you look at it as well, remember the last long unbeaten when we went under with Lee Clark, 43 games, and we didn't get promoted that season. We got into the playoffs, but we didn't get promoted. And that's why I said, unbeaten runs are great, but when you've got opportunities to close the gap on the teams above you, if you want to try and get them automatic places, and you fail, not once, but multiple times, it's just not acceptable. So, yeah, I'm not taking anything away from the beaten run, but it just take the glosses of it when you're drawing against teams that we should be winning. And like I said, and I'll stick by what I'm saying as well, if we don't get promoted at the end of the season, this season's a failure. It's an absolute failure, because I've said it on stream before. We don't have a better chance to be in automatic promotion places this season. We haven't had a better chance, and we won't get a better chance, because there has been opportunities that we haven't capitalised on. Just to let the teams know above, we're on your coattails now. We're on you. 1 or 2 points difference. We're on you now. But no, we failed to deliver when we've needed it most against teams. We can't, and that is the most disappointing part of this. And if you look at our signings, we've gone from strengthening our strikers to looking so weak at the other end, and defensively all over the place at the back. And people are telling me that Lees and Pearson, it's okay for Lees and Pearson to start games. No. If there's any evidence to suggest that they shouldn't be starting games, it was the one on Saturday. The pace that they have is non-existent. Yes, their position is good, but they don't get tight enough to Lees. I think Lees doesn't get tight enough to opposition. Pearson is found wanting a lot of the time, but because he scores a few goals, he's the golden boy again. When in reality, We need our defenders to defend first and foremost. Goals are a bonus in that department. Defenders aren't in the team to score. Yes, they'll chip in when they can, but let's look at the defending first of all. Let's look at Pearson's defending. Lees' defending. It's not good enough. So look, we're going to get into the player ratings, guys, anyway, part of the show where we do our player ratings. So that I've kind of summarised how I feel, to be honest with you. And but before we do get into player ratings, let's look at the league table as it stands, because as I said, we have felt longer behind now with this. So the gap has now extended to the automatic promotion to 6 points. And Wickham finding a way to win when they looked like they weren't really at their best against Mansfield on Saturday. And Birmingham won again. But yeah, so the gap's 6 points. And people keep telling me, game in hand. Yeah, great. We've got to win that game in hand first and foremost. But we should have been closer than 6 points as well at this stage. We should be closer. The drop points, I've already said, you know, the past few weeks, the drop points against teams that we should be winning could easily have had an extra 6 to 8 points on that tally. And it's easy me sitting here and saying that, but that's the reality, guys. So, yeah, staying fourth, but just not pushing hard enough on the automatic promotions places at this point. 6 points can be turned around quickly, but it's still a big gap. And the fact the gap extended just feels 6 points doesn't feel a lot, but it is kind of. It feels a lot. And like I said, we should be a lot closer than that. But look, let's get into the player ratings. This are foot mobs. I'm trying to actually get me on the screen here, but I don't think you can. You can kind of see me at the bottom there, but I'm gonna just see if. Yeah, there we are. Do that. So let's get into our player ratings. I'm going to actually take the banner off as well. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, guys, to the channel if you're new. We'll try and push towards that 100 mark, 100 subscriber mark very, very soon. By the way, these are not my ratings, guys. This is foot mobs, but I do kind of compare them to foot mobs ratings. But for me, I think these ratings are very generous. But let's start with Chapman in the goal, obviously. For me, I think Chapman had a poor game on Saturday. I'm going to be honest. You know, I think he was kind of, you know, a bit slow to respond to Rob Apt's shot to the bottom corner, the first goal that Blackpool scored. He might have been wrong-footed at that point, but still, beaten by a lob from a narrow angle that may have been intended as a cross. Yeah, that one that hit the Broadstone ended up hitting up towards the crossbar. That chance, only to risk. Yeah, it was a goal line clearance that Brody Spencer did. Parried Ashley Fletcher's cross into the danger zone. Then unable to keep out his shot despite getting a hand to it. His kicking was quite erratic. So for me, I'm going to give Chapman a 4. I think he was very poor, guys. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, no, I don't know. What are the defenders' ratings? I know. It's crazy, isn't it? These ratings are not accurate at all. These are not my ratings, guys, just to make it clear. Now, Ollie Turton, I'm going to go with all. In fact, let's just go with the back three first. Matty Pearson should really have opened the scoring inside 10 minutes of Tommy's cross. Didn't connect properly with his header. Glanced it wide. Booked before the break for a cynical foul. Didn't look comfortable playing in the back. At the back, left a huge gap to poor Turton and struggling with his 1v1 defending as well. better after the break, in common with all of his colleagues, and especially after we went to a proper back three. So look, Pearson for me gets a 4 as well. Absolutely shocking and not good enough at all. Next up, we've got Tom Lees. Obviously, putting that cross with Pearson after pulling off that really Cruyff turn, if you remember, in the box. Didn't deal with that on his way into the box, though, for the goal. Had a good header, brilliantly saved at 2-2 after staying up from a corner. I think Lees will get a 5. I think he was okay, but wasn't much better than Pearson at all. Let's have a look at Spencer. Then, for me, Spencer was our best player in this match. Got back in position after being caught pressing upfield, only to be beaten too easily by Apter just outside the box on the way to Blackpool's early goal. That was poor, though. Struggled against Apter for much of the first half. Brilliantly got the ball off the line after Chapman was lobbed, though. Heading it off back into the player off the underside of the bar. Far better defensively after the break and looked an attacking threat. Got the benefit of a huge deflection for his goal. But great endeavour and reactions to make the chance for himself in the first place. Great cross for Lees on the saved effort. So I'm going to give Spencer an 8. I think he was good in this game, to be honest with you. Had a few moments, but he was one of the better players, which doesn't really say much, does it really? Up next, Ben Wiles. I'm going to give Ben Wiles a 4. Did have a first half effort cleared off the line from a narrow angle. Had some brighter moments in our rare better attacks, but took heavy touches at other times. Lost the ball to start the Blackpool move that produced their second goal, as I've already mentioned. Failed to win a tackle in the box to boot. Tracked back well consistently, to his credit, with one tackle on halfway line late on earning a deserved roar from the crowd. Yeah, that was a good one, but for me overall, a poor performance by Wiles, not good enough. And yeah, a 4 for me for Ben Wiles. Joe Hodge played as the lone deep line midfielder and looked isolated as a result. See a huge kind of chasm between him and the rest of the midfield. Tried hard to overcome that, but just a massive task. He was taken off at half time. I think Hodge wasn't great, guys. I'm going to give him a 5, but I don't think the role that he was played, the role that he was given, really suited him at all, did it? Kane, not in the game nearly enough, and was sacrificed at the break. For me, Kane gets a 4. Karoma played a part in Town's better moments in the first half and kept up after the break, with one ball from GN Charles particularly eye-catching. But again, you need more from your wing-backs, and Karoma isn't a wing-back, and I don't really know where he fits in this system. So for me, I'm going to give Josh Karoma a 6. And then the 2 new strikers, of course, Taylor. I think Taylor deserves a 7. Straight into the starting lineup. Had little to work with first half, but quickly got us back into the game with that brilliantly taken debut goal, which we talked about already. Taking down Anthony Evans' looping cross before turning and finding a powerful effort for a crowding past the keeper. His only notable involvement, but really made it count, that's what we'll say. Went off just before the hour, with us presumably managing his minutes after not playing much at Luton. Charles, for me, another debutant, played alongside Taylor and I think you can see what Michael Duff means about him being a pest to play against, can't you? Because obviously really good with his link-up play, few smart touches and reverse passes. But yeah, it was an okay debut. I'm going to give him a 6, Dion Charles. And then if you look at the bench, Evans, and we're going to get to your questionnaire in a moment. Thank you for that. But we're just going to finish off the ratings. And then the substitutes. I've already mentioned it, but Anthony Evans came on. He did make a big difference in it when he came on in the midfield with his quality and energy. Key difference maker in the turnaround as well. Like you can argue, claiming an assist and making us more convincing with our attacking play. I'm gonna give Evans a 7.5. Could say pushing to an 8 to be fair. For his I think I'm going to give him an 8 for the performance he showed. Actually, I'm going to give him an 8. Hogg came on for Kane. A better fit for the defensive midfield job in the face of Blackpool's counters. Hoggy being in there, played a couple of lovely balls for Marshall to run onto. Really good showing. For me, I'm going to give Hogg an 8 as well. I think he was a difference maker when he came on at half time. Marshall came on as well in the 57th minute. Fresh legs for the press and for the attack. I'm going to give him a 6. I think he did okay. Got him behind a few times. And yeah, caused a few issues. But couldn't find that goal that we needed. Balka came on, played on the left of the back three with Spencer going to wing back. Immediately gave Blackpool a chance on goal with that rash pass that we talked about. Settled in fine after that though and offered plenty on the ball. So I think he does deserve a 6 as well. And then obviously Healy came on, but he only came on very, very late, so I can't give him a rating. But that's my ratings for the match. Let's get into your comments now, guys. I do apologise for not going to these earlier, but just finish off my ratings. Anyway, I'm going to move myself back into the middle there. Anyways, have to go. Have a good day. Okay, Bing, take care. Ian says, do you think Duff should be saying to Chapman, right, he was poor on Saturday, I'm going to give you the bottom game to redeem yourself. If not, Nichols is going in net for the Birmingham match. Well, look, I mean, if he keeps playing like he did on Saturday, Chapman, then there has to be questions asked about that, because I think, yes, he has done brilliant stuff since he's come into the side. We've already said that on this channel before, but he did look very poor on at the weekend in, and I think the answer to your question is, I think if he does continue, if he does perform badly again on Saturday, then I think Nichols is going to be knocking on Duff's door and saying, well, you know, Chapman isn't performing that great. I think I deserve a chance. I worked hard in training. And then he may come in for the Birmingham match. But look, I don't want to be too critical of Chapman. He was a bad game. He was poor, but he has done a lot of good stuff since he's come in as well. So we have to give him credit for that too. But yeah, that's my viewpoint on it. So yeah, questions have to be asked if it continues. But let's not get, he might be back to how he's played in previous games on Saturday. So let's just see how he gets on. One more thing, no excuse for the ball match at home. 3 points got to be. How many times have we said that though, Bing? How many times have we said it's got to be 3 points, and these players do not deliver when we need them most? But yeah, I agree, because the reality is that the pressure is on even more now, because the gap's widened between the top two now. The difference to the top two, it puts extra pressure on us now, because we know that any more drop points could be pretty damn important, because it could cost us. Because if we don't win games, you can't keep relying on other teams to drop points. We have to keep winning, and we need to go on a winning run as well. So that's just my viewpoint on it. But yeah, any final thoughts, get them in, because we are going to wrap up in a few moments. We have been going for over an hour, or maybe just an hour. Yeah, we've been going for an hour. So any final thoughts? But I think I've kind of summarised what I want to say. I still feel very frustrated about the result, and we have to be better. We have to play for more than one half, not just play for one half. And we need to sort our defence out as well, which you've already alluded to. But 9 people watching right now. Make sure you do drop a like, guys. Subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I appreciate everybody's support. But I think we're going to wrap up here. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you for all your contributions. We've got a full week now to prepare for the next game. So I'm going to best be ready against Bolton next weekend. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you for your support. Thanks for watching. And I'll be back tomorrow for a transfer show where we'll look. I've held my thoughts on Hellick's departure. We're going to get into that tomorrow evening. And I'm going to share my thoughts on it, really, and everything. So yeah, we're going to cover that. So yeah, transfer show tomorrow. So hope you guys can join me then. And this is brilliant live stream, mate, of the town. Big up to you, Ian. Thank you very much. Up the town, as much as it is disappointing result of the weekend. But look, guys, thank you so much. Have a good evening. Take care, stay safe. And I'll see you all tomorrow for the next weekly transfer show. Take care, everybody. And I'll see you very, very soon.